Hello guys, it's me Gleff back again and welcome to Season 30 Part 1 Retrowinds. So yeah, we got a Mystic update, we got some other cool event things, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this patch because this is the first part and the second part of this should be Month of the Mad God. So this all leads up to Month of the Mad God. If you're looking to buy the new Battle Pass, well, if you use my code Gleff on the RotMG web hub in the checkout, you will get 10% extra gold on your purchase. So if you buy 2,600 gold, yeah, you'll get 260 gold for free, and so on. So use my code on the RotMG web hub, and let's jump straight into the patch notes. Deka says, it's time to rewind the realm. Season 30 Part 1 Retrowinds is now live and bringing a new season packed with retro equipment and engravings, seasonal missions and battle pass rewards, rotating dungeon events, wind vortex encounters, new shinies and a major mystic rework. I'm just gonna talk super fast about this. We see the Forgotten King here, we see Old Sprite World, Shaitan, yeah? This looks like the lava path to the third boss in the Shatters. Directly after Twilight Archmage, you had to go through like one tile path through the lava. That's kind of cool. Okay, new season, Retrowinds. A breath of nostalgia is sweeping through the realm. This season we're letting a retro vibe take center stage as we enter the new season. Check out the new equipment and reskins and this season's special rewards and activities. Retrowinds. We're introducing reskins of tier 13 weapons, armors, and engravings. So we have all the weapons, we have all the armors, and we have also Retrowinds engravings. The Retrowind equipment will drop with guaranteed rarity, and the engravings have the following effect. The weapon on player shoot, Call Lightning dealing 500 damage, increases dexterity by 9% of bonus speed. Okay, that's kind of cool. And the armor engraving on player hit, gain 9 dexterity lasting 9 seconds, 18 seconds cooldown, adds plus 3 defense. Okay. Complete the following missions, battle pass and run feature dungeons to obtain tokens. We've prepared two types of tokens, the Retrowinds weapon token and the Retrowind armor token. Once you collect 20 tokens, you can change them for a chest of choice respectively, a Retrowinds weapon selection chest and Retrowinds armor selection chest. So these are the tokens and these are the chests. Okay. Retrowinds emotes. Some strange emotes have made their way into the first seasonal rewards. Could this be a glimpse of what's to come in the second half of the season? And that's Month of the Mad God. Maybe they will bring back the old lord, old Shaitan, old crawling depths, old shatters, old abyss, and Leviathan in the realm. I'm not sure. Well, the battle pass, we will take a look on that later in the video, as well as the mission tree. We have two new skins, Shadow Feather Rogue skin and Sweep Gator Mystic skin. That looks really cool. Celestial Stones quest. We have some more of those at the Tinkerer, and the mission tree is very focused towards Mystic, so that's kind of cool. So we will have new emotes, new titles, and weapon and armor tokens and engravings in the mission tree. The dungeon events for this update is Davy Jones Locker and the Nest the first week, Ocean Trash and Spectral Penitentiary the second week, the third week, Encore and Cultist, and fourth week, Mountain Temple and the Void. Crucible this season, it's pretty boring. Plus 5 attack, plus 10 defense. Shots over 15 damage have a 30% chance to inflict you with exposed for 3 seconds. Cooldown 4 seconds. And you also get 10% BXP, XP, and loot. We have some new shinies. We have a new shiny Hamayumi, Crystalline Sigil, Espen Vows, Crystallized Worm Spellblade, Forgotten Ring, Elder Heartwood Staff. My favorite here is probably the Crystalline Sigil. The Heartwood Staff looks kinda cool, and the Forgotten Ring too. Mystic Rework. The time has finally come for Mystic to get a class rework. Mystic was a fairly hard class to figure out how to rework, as its iconic ability function did not have much depth to work with from an item design standpoint. Because of the class has taken a new direction, removing status from most orbs and replacing it with a brand new functionality revolving around the effect called Hex. Hex is a brand new effect that the Mystic can apply to enemies by hitting them with their weapon while they have any orb equipped. Hex is tracked per player and can stack up to 100. Be careful though, if no new Hex stacks are applied for 3 seconds, the enemy will lose all of their Hex stacks. The effect does nothing on its own, but it is used by the Mystic brand new ability functionality. So when you hit the target, the Hex counter will go up, and if you don't hit the target for 3 more seconds, well, the Hex counter will disappear. Consuming Hex. When the Mystic uses their ability, they will now consume the Hex on all abilities within an area around their mouse. Consuming Hex does damage to all enemies in the AoE based on a damage base value, but also does additional damage to any enemies with Hex stacks, with the damage increasing the more stacks they have. In addition, orbs can also trigger additional effects on consuming certain amount of Hex stacks. This allows us to build unique effects on orbs that can't be spammed or abilities that increase in potency the more stacks you consume. Combined, this makes for a very versatile damage dealing ability, allowing you to deal notable AoE damage by spamming or holding your ability to build stacks on enemies, dealing massive single target damage and gaining additional effects. This should also allow players with less mana recovery to still be able to get some large value from their ability on bosses. So we have the tiered orbs. Tiered orbs are fairly simple, cursing and having a solid Hex consumption activate, dealing higher base damage than some UTs that have extra effects. Also, when consuming 25 Hex stacks on an enemy, tiered orbs will apply Petrify to them for 3 seconds. Orb of Sweet Demise. Honey Orb is still a solid slowing tool, replacing the curse with a slow and dealing lower amount of damage from Hex, but having higher scaling. Consuming Hex stacks will extend the duration of the slow, and at 50 or more stacks will inflict weak. So that is very, very interesting. I really like the ability to inflict weak on enemies, and I like that more classes have the availability to inflict weak on enemies. Enchantment Orb from Magic Woods. Enchantment Orb is a powerhouse that scales on dex, grants you berserk, and can grant additional dex buffs based on the Hex stacks you consume. All this speed can let you build up Hex even faster to swap other orbs to consume it. It has however lost the ability to curse. So a Dex Orb and Berserk. Orb of Conflict. Conflict is no longer grants speedy but still gives damaging, and has an attack scaling Hex activate. Plus now rends the souls of your enemies into shards, creating little summons that will pulse AoEs, dealing damage to nearby enemies. With more shards created, the more stacks you consume. I tried the Conflict in testing. I really liked it. Orb of the Conquest, the Agent of Oryx one. The Agent of Oryx orb have been changed to a new functionality. It no longer creates the beacon object it once had. Now its Hex detonate also causes spell bomb-like effects to appear on enemies. With more projectiles, the more Hex stacks you consume. It also scales on death now. Orb of Aether. Aether has been given a Hex activate and have been cleaned up a little bit to make it nicer to use. The Aether trap is now spawned on an ability proc, so you can continue using the orb or another orb while the trap is on cooldown. In addition, the cooldown of the Aether trap has been reduced to 3 seconds, so you can now have 2 out at once. Okay. Vision of Draconis. This orb is mostly unchanged, still spawning powerful summons to attack your enemies, but now instead of a sap, it fires a projectile so that it can scale on wisdom. This orb won't interact with Hex and instead has its power self-contained. Primal Arcana. This orb is mostly unchanged, only receiving the ability to apply Hex stacks, so you can use it in tandem with another orb, swapping back and forth using the Arcana to stack faster. Additionally, it has received some small dex scaling. So that's a nice, like, if you have this, you'll probably main this and then swap out to other orbs when you want stuff to happen. Then we have the Command Cornea. Some of the Cornea's base power have been reduced, and it has gained the ability to consume Hex for additional weaker poisons. The Hex itself does not deal much damage as the base power of the item is so high. Then we have the Scorching Stone. The This orb has gotten new power added by gaining a hex activate and also firing more and more projectiles in its shotgun depending on how much stacks you consume. That's very cool. Then we have the cosmic astrolabe. Most of this orb is unchanged, but its projectiles have gained scaling. And it has now a hex activate to deal damage in an AoE around your teleportation location. So this is the teleport orb. Soul of the Bearer. This orb function is unchanged, still providing stasis and speedy as a solid rush orb option. It, however, has received more passive stats and has had its cooldown removed to compensate for the lack of other changes. Then we have a new orb, the Titan's Heart. A brand new orb dropping from the Sandstone Titan that provides the same utility as an old tier orb plus a nice def boost. Stasis. Finally, this rework does mean the removal of stasis from Mystic's core kit. However, we know some of the dedicated Mystic players have gotten used to making the most out of the niche ability. We don't want to fully remove that from Mystic's current fans, but it has been relegated to only a few items, as you can see above. In addition, all of the orbs with stasis have had their duration standardized to 6 seconds, but the time enemies are stasis immune after being stasis has been increased from 3 to 6 seconds. This means players can still strategically lock down enemies in crucial moments, but the uptime for the ability is not able to be used as often. That's pretty cool. We have a new SD set. We have prepared it's a reskin of the Astral Arcanist set. Meet the 2-bit Mystic set. Okay, looking kinda cool. We have a crazy gift. Also, use my code Gleff on the RotMG web hub, or join my 5,000 gold giveaway if you want some gold. It's down in the description as well. Oh my god, season 30. Okay, let's see. I've already started to play. The mission tree up here, we have. This is kind of cool. Every 5 days, complete 50 dungeons, difficulty between 5.5 and 10. So then you can take one of the orbs of your choosing. So that's pretty nice. Mystery quest chest, some emotes up here. Happy Leviathan emote. Then here in the middle we have, that's kind of nice, large dust chest. Schematics. We have some skins. We have the Forgotten King Crystals emote. We have Seasonal Vault expansion. This is kind of cool. Hopefully this is repeatable, where you can choose which chest you want. Here we have some Retrowinds stuff. Starts every 7 days, so you will get 1 engraving and 10 tokens of each. Also here, start 18 hours, and you'll get less tokens here. So I guess you want to play the dungeon events. Here we have the Round Archdemon Malphas emote. This is pretty cool also. So this is every 5 days, Command Cornea, Primal Arcana and Orb of Conflict. So that is very nice, and that will give everyone playing a Mystic a head start. So you don't have to kill the Skull Shrine and hope for getting a Conflict or doing shatters if you don't want to do that. That's the mission, but let's check the battle pass here. So like right off the start, if you buy it for 1,200 gold, you get pretty good items here. You get gold, you get Lutro potions, you get golden lucky clover, you will get some of the Retrowinds tokens, like here, mystery pots, some event keys, some seasonal chest coupons. Here you have the Shadow Feather Rogue skin. We have an immense dust chest, Retrowinds engraving, and at the end here you will get the Sweep Gator Mystic skin. So I guess that's kind of nice. It's better than like years ago, the battle pass, in my opinion, I think. Okay, yeah, I feel like this update is like a teaser for the coming Month of the Mad God update. Like they're teasing us, and I like that. Hopefully that Month of the Mad God is going to take a Retrowind look back at the game, because it's the 15-year celebration, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, what do you think about this update? Comment down below, down in the comments. Check out the description. We have a 5,000 gold giveaway. You can use my code Gleff on the RotMG webpage to get 10% extra gold. I think that's a pretty sweet deal. So check that out, and I'll see you guys in game. Write to me anytime, and have a nice update and summer, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.